Welcome to Echoes of Faith, where ancient truth speaks into your today. Here, scripture, theology, and the languages of the Bible come alive to build your faith, steady your heart, and draw you closer to God. Today's episode is titled The Horses and Chariots of Fire, Faith that Sees the Invisible Realm. Our scriptural text is taken from 2 Kings chapter 6, verses 8 to 23. Theme: the mountain of fire, the veil of perception, and the feast of mercy. An enemy army surrounds the city overnight. Fear rises immediately when Elisha's servant wakes up and sees horses, chariots, and heavily armed soldiers surrounding them on every side. From a purely human perspective, defeat seems absolutely certain. Yet Elisha sees another reality entirely. In this episode, we explore the horses and chariots of fire through the original Hebrew text, classical interpretation, and theological reflection. We uncover the profound difference between physical sight and spiritual perception, why fear always grows from a limited vision, and how faith learns to recognize unseen realities. This episode speaks to anyone feeling overwhelmed, trapped, or surrounded by intense pressure. It reveals that what is unseen may be far more powerful than what is visible. The king of Syria is furious. He is waging a tactical war against the nation of Israel. He gathers his generals in secret. He plots the exact coordinates of his ambushes. He moves his troops under the cover of darkness. But every single time he sets a trap, the king of Israel is already 2 steps ahead. The Israelite army avoids the ambush entirely. This happens not once or twice, but repeatedly. The Syrian king calls his cabinet together. He is convinced there is a traitor in the room. He demands to know who is leaking state secrets to the enemy. But one of his servants steps forward and delivers a chilling explanation. There is no spy. There is a prophet. Elisha, the prophet who is in Israel, tells the king of Israel the words that you speak in your bedroom. This is the stunning reality of the prophetic office. There are dimensions of reality that exist completely beyond visible information. No secret is safe from the Spirit of God. Today, we look at what happens when the king of Syria decides to hunt down the man who can hear whispers in the dark. We look at the terrifying moment of being surrounded and the breathtaking moment when the veil is finally lifted. The conflict begins with divine insight. The king of Syria is trying to fight a physical war, but he is constantly thwarted by a spiritual reality. This reveals something profound about the nature of our world. We often try to solve our problems using only the information we can see, touch, or measure. But faith recognizes that God sees exactly what humans are trying to hide. Heaven has access to the bedroom of the enemy. The deepest plots formed against you are already known by the God who watches over you. The Syrian king makes a highly irrational military decision. He locates Elisha in a small, walled city called Dothan, and he sends horses, chariots, and a great army to capture him. Think about the absurdity of this response. He sends a massive military force to arrest one unarmed prophet. This is deeply significant. Darkness always overreacts to the presence of light. The enemy will often launch an overwhelming attack against the very thing that carries spiritual clarity. If your life is dedicated to truth, you must expect resistance. The severity of the attack against you is often a direct reflection of the value of the clarity you carry. The Syrian army marches through the night. They move quietly. They surround the city of Dothan before the sun comes up. Morning breaks. Elisha's servant wakes up early and goes outside. He walks to the city wall and looks out over the valley. Instead of the quiet morning mist, he sees the glint of bronze armor. He sees rows of war horses. He sees heavily armed chariots encircling the entire city. There is no way out. The Hebrew narrative perfectly captures the sudden, suffocating grip of fear. Visible circumstances completely dominate his perception. He has no other data to process. All he can see is the threat. Faith always struggles when our vision is limited exclusively to the natural realm. If you only look at the armor of the enemy, your heart will always fail. The servant runs back to Elisha. He is trembling. He cries out, "Alas, my master, what shall we do?" This is the pure language of despair. Fear is a brilliant editor. It immediately narrows your options down to zero. When people focus only on the visible threats surrounding them, hopelessness grows exponentially. The servant has calculated the math of the situation. 1 prophet and 1 servant against an entire Syrian division. The outcome is certain death. But faith must learn to interpret reality using a completely different set of mathematics. Elisha does not jump out of bed. He does not panic. He does not start looking for a weapon. He calmly replies to his terrified servant, "Do not fear, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them." From a natural perspective, this statement appears entirely delusional. The servant looks around the room. He sees only 2 people. He looks out the window. The enemy is everywhere. Yet Elisha is perfectly at peace because he is looking at another reality. Faith perceives realities that exist far beyond visible conditions. Elisha is not denying the presence of the Syrians. He is simply aware of a superior presence. Elisha does not argue with the servant. He simply prays for him. "Lord, I pray, open his eyes that he may see." The original Hebrew phrase is absolutely crucial. Gala einaim. Gala einaim. Gala means to uncover, to reveal, to strip away the veil, or to expose what is already there. Einaim means the eyes. This is not a prayer for physical healing. The servant already has perfect 20/20 physical eyesight. That is exactly why he is terrified. This is a prayer for spiritual revelation. Elisha is asking God to strip away the veil of the material world so the young man can see the spiritual architecture of the moment. Faith requires unveiled perception. We do not need God to change the situation. We often just need God to uncover our eyes. The Lord answers the prayer. The Lord opens the eyes of the young man, and suddenly the servant sees it. And behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. The Hebrew word for fire is esha. In biblical theology, fire symbolizes the divine presence, the unapproachable holiness, and the consuming power of Yahweh. The servant discovers a breathtaking truth. The invisible reality of heaven completely surrounds the visible danger of the earth. The Syrians have surrounded the city, but God has surrounded the Syrians. The young man's terror evaporates instantly. The circumstances did not change. The Syrian army is still standing there, but his faith changed because his perception changed. Notice where the chariots of fire are located. They are on the mountain. Mountains in Scripture consistently represent the divine perspective. They are the high places of encounter. When the servant was afraid, his focus was directed downward into the valley where the enemy was camped. He was looking inward at his own vulnerability. When God opened his eyes, his vision was lifted higher. Faith always lifts our vision upward. It forces us to look at the high places where the authority of heaven is already stationed. As the Syrian army begins to march down toward the city, Elisha prays a second time. "Strike this people, I pray, with blindness." God strikes them with blindness, according to the word of Elisha. The Hebrew word used here is fascinating. It is sanverim. This is a very rare word. It refers not merely to a loss of physical eyesight, but to a sudden cognitive blindness. It is a dazzling confusion. It is absolute disorientation. The army can still walk, but they have completely lost their perception of reality. Faith understands that spiritual clarity itself is the ultimate power. When the enemy loses their perception, they lose their ability to fight. Elisha walks out of the city gates. He approaches the confused, disoriented army that came to kill him. He says to them, "This is not the way. nor is this the city. Follow me, and I will bring you to the man whom you seek." And Elisha casually leads an entire Syrian army 12 miles down the road, directly into Samaria, the heavily fortified capital of Israel. The hunter becomes the captive. The prophet remains completely calm throughout the entire process. Faith moves with total confidence because it fundamentally trusts the invisible presence of God. When you know you are surrounded by fire, you can walk straight into the camp of your enemies without a single trace of fear. Once they are safely locked inside the walls of Samaria, Elisha prays a third time, "Lord, open the eyes of these men, that they may see." The Lord opens their eyes. They look around, and they realize they are trapped in the center of the capital city of their greatest enemy. The same God who blinds the proud also reveals the truth to the captive. Faith understands that God has absolute sovereign control over human perception. He can hide the truth, and he can expose it in an instant. The king of Israel is thrilled. He looks at his trapped enemies and asks Elisha eagerly, "My father, shall I kill them? Shall I kill them?" This perfectly reflects human instinct. Worldly power always seeks revenge. It seeks to destroy the opponent the moment it gains an advantage. But Elisha refuses. "You shall not kill them." Would you kill those whom you have taken captive with your sword and your bow? Set food and water before them, that they may eat and drink and go to their master? This is an astonishing conclusion. Enemies are fed rather than executed. A great feast is prepared for the army that came to murder the prophet. Faith must reflect divine mercy even toward its most bitter opponents. Mercy succeeds where violence only guarantees continued conflict. After the meal, the Syrians return home. Scripture records that the bands of Syrian raiders stopped coming into the land of Israel. Grace achieved a lasting peace that weapons never could. Ancient Aramaic commentary emphasizes that the real miracle at Dothan was not the military deliverance. The real miracle was the revelation. Faith depends entirely on seeing correctly. The Greek Septuagint highlights this divine protection, proving to early readers that heavenly realities constantly surround the believers. Philosophy wrestles with the nature of reality. Humans naturally assume that what is visible is the ultimate truth, but this story profoundly challenges that assumption. Fear grows rapidly when our perception narrows. But the horses and chariots of fire teach us that faith sees the invisible realm. Visible circumstances are never the whole reality. Fear grows through limited perception. God has the power to open your spiritual understanding. Divine protection often surrounds you completely unnoticed, and radical mercy can overcome the deepest conflict. If you feel surrounded today, pause before panicking. Do not let the bronze armor of your problems dictate your peace. Ask God to open your eyes. There is far more with you than there is against you. Faith that sees beyond the visible will always discover courage, even in the middle of the most overwhelming circumstances. Thank you for listening to Echoes of Faith. May the word you heard today strengthen your spirit, renew your hope, and deepen your walk with God. Until next time, keep your heart open and let faith speak.